term under the chairmanship of His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfouz al-Mandhari, Chairman of the State Council. The session includes the honorable members taking the legal oath and electing 2 deputies for the Chairman of the Council and 4 members for the Council's office. In recognition of prominent Omani figures like Ibn Durayd al-Khalil bin Ahmed al-Farahidi and Muhallab bin Abi Sufra, UNESCO included the Omani poet Abu Muslim al-Bahlani in commemorations of his 100th anniversary as part of its list of prominent global figures that will be celebrated in 2020-2021. Abu Muslim was selected as a global figure for his wide knowledge and contributions that have left their marks in the Arab and African memory to this day. Oman's Message of Islam exhibition continued tour around the world and reached Jakarta this time to spread its message of tolerance, understanding and coexistence. The opening ceremony was held under the patronage of His Excellency Professor Alawi Shihab, the President's Special Envoy to the Middle East and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. The event was attended by officials and diplomats in Indonesia. On a statement to Oman television channel, His Excellency Professor Alawi Shihab said that the exhibition has its impact on the Islamic and Arab nation, especially in Indonesia. The exhibition included various elements of tolerance and coexistence in Oman through Arabic calligraphy, sand arts, and other forms of arts. Their Excellencies, the Ministers of Trade at the Gulf Cooperation Council GCC countries held the 50th meeting of the Trade Cooperation Committee at the Advisory Board of the GCC Supreme Council in Muscat. During the meeting, the ministers discussed the amendment of the patent law and its office competencies in the GCC. They also discussed challenges facing the member countries to activate the joint Gulf work in the field of trade and initiatives of entrepreneurs and innovation of small and medium enterprises in GCC countries. Meanwhile, the GCC Industrial Cooperation Committee held the 46th meeting which discussed challenges facing the iron industry sector in the GCC countries and discussed the application of the member states for unified rules to give priority to government purchases of the national products in the GCC countries. The meeting was headed by His Excellency Dr. Ali bin Masoud al-Sinedi, Minister of Commerce and Industry. Their Excellencies, Ministers of Trade at the Gulf Cooperation Council GCC countries discussed initiatives from GCC entrepreneurs, SMEs, financing agencies and entrepreneurship incubator programs. The initiatives called for establishing specialized incubators programs in the private sector, promoting small and medium enterprises by awarding them government contracts and encouraging investment between GCC states. The initiatives also called for establishing a network for Gulf entrepreneurs and a unified GCC information center for trade exchanges. The meeting was headed by His Excellency Dr. Ali bin Masoud al-Sinedi, Minister of Commerce and Industry. His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed al-Saidi, Minister of Health, patronized the conclusion of a 4-day AHWP annual meeting hosted by the Sultanate of Oman. The meeting addressed the latest health techniques in the field of medical devices and supplies, as well as challenges faced. I was present there and I prepared this report. Under the patronage of His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed al-Saidi, Minister of Health, AHWP concluded its annual meeting today, where a number of decisions, including changing the name of the organizations to the International Harmonization Working Party, ratifying the capacity building report for the staff working in the medical regulatory field, ratifying a number of guidelines related to the changes in medical devices and supplies, and their tracking system and the electronic identification card, as well as the announcement of the accession of the Republic of Kyrgyzstan to the party.
Actually, the main recommendation of the meeting is to change the name of the group from Asian Harmonization Working Party for Medical Devices to Global Harmonization Party for Medical Devices. And the reason behind that is because there's so many requests from different countries outside Asia to join the group. Second, there's an approval of the building capacity report for medical devices control, an approval of a number of evidence guidelines for classification of the changes, electronic identification label, and tracking system for medical device. Also, the Republic of Kyrgyzstan was accepted as a new member in the group.
The meeting, which lasted for 4 days, aimed at standardizing the control measures on the medical devices and supplies in accordance with the global systems and procedures applicable at the international controlling authorities and countries in order to access high quality and safety medical devices and supplies, as well as prevent the entry of any low quality products.
The conclusion of this meeting, of course, we will improve the regulation requirements for the new innovation of medical device, enhance the collaboration among AHWB as a global organization, as well as other partners organization, WHO, IMDRF. In addition to that, the exchange in knowledge among the regulatory authority for the best medical device regulatory model to make the use of medical device safe and quality in the treatment and diagnostic for the patient.
AHWP has come a long way. And I will argue that although we started more than 20 years ago, as for Asia, we are today striding across many different continents. So therefore, we are really very global.
Due to its importance in enhancing and improving the health systems of medical devices and supplies, around 300 participants from the AHWP member states in the Asian group, represented by 31 countries, have attended the meeting, including participations from the European, African, and American countries, along with a number of international health control authorities and organizations such as WHO, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, and the European Union and others.
From Tanzania, I'm here in Muscat attending the 24th annual AHWT meeting. In this meeting, I have learned a lot. The content has been wonderful. It also gave me a chance to interact with a lot of expertise across the globe, to exchange ideas. You know, the field of medical device is very dynamic. It's changing every day. And we as a regulator, we also need to keep pace so that we can establish effective system in order to protect public health.
The Sultanate was participated in the meeting with a number of specialists from the Ministry of Health, engineers, technicians, doctors, pharmacists, and nurses. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat. The Shura Council held its first annual sitting of the 9th term under the chairmanship of His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al-Mawali, chairman of the Shura Council, to elect members of the Council's Bureau for the first mid-term. More details in the following report by Saif bin Khalfan Al-Kindi.
The opening of the new sitting of the 9th term of a Shura Council witnessed the election process of the Shura Bureau. Consequently, 6 members have been elected today out of 24 candidates. Dr. Abdullah Al-Amri, deputy of the Shura chairman, attended the sitting, and here is what he had to say.
The main items in the session today is to elect the 6 members of Shura office, which will be in the Shura office with the speaker and the 2 vice speakers. Every member has 6 votes. He can elect the 6 members who want to vote for them. Then by the end of the process, we can estimate the highest vote collectors will be the 6 members of office with the speaker and 2 vice speakers.
Based on Article 48 of the internal regulation that allocates the process of voting the members of the Bureau, each shall consist of the chairman, the 2 deputies, and the 6 members to be elected by the Council by a relative majority for a half term in the first sitting following the inauguration of the session. The Shura Bureau shall assume several vital competencies, such as setting activities of the Council, assisting its committees in making the rules organizing managements of their work, and coordinations of aspects of their activities in accordance with the provisions of these regulations. It's also responsible for the preparation of the agenda of the sittings, drafts, laws forwarded by the government, which the committees have completed their study, as well as many other legislative and auditing responsibilities. In the meantime, during the first sittings, the members gathered to select heads of the permanent committees. There are 7 committees in the Majlis: the Legislative and Legal Committee, the Economic and Financial Committee, the Health and Environment Committee, the Education and Scientific Research Committee, the Services and Social Development Committee. There are also other 3 committees that are in charge of Youth and Human Resources, Food and Water Security, and Media and Culture Committee. Well, after sorting the committee's members, several issues have been listed in the 9th period. One of them is the annual budget 2020 and the Oman 2040 vision, as well as several economy and financial issues. Saif Al-Kindi for English News, Muscat.
You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and yet to come in our news bulletin. During the autumn season, the tourists can feast their eyes on trees with bright colored leaves in eastern and southwestern parts of China. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Discussing a number of military issues was the center of the meeting between Lieutenant General Ahmed bin Harith bin Nasser al-Nabhani, Chief of Staff of Sultan Armed Forces, and General Steve Lyons, the Commander of the United States Transportation Command. During the meeting, they exchanged views on issues of common concern. His Excellency Mohammed bin Nasser al-Rasbi, Secretary General of the Ministry of Defense, they exchanged views and discussed a number of issues of common concern. The shooting ground in the Wilaya of Madha witnessed the conclusion of Royal Oman Police Shooting Competition for 2019. The conclusion ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Lieutenant General Hassan bin Mohsen al-Shiraqi, Inspector General of Police and Customs. 1,500 male and female shooters participated in the competition, representing 96 teams. The conclusion ceremony started with a visual presentation about the phases of the competition. The participating shooters included officers, male and female Royal Oman Police personnel. They competed in the 10 days of the contest to win the top places. At the end of the event, the chief guest honored the toppers in the competition. Al-Mazuna Free Zone witnessed rapid developments during the last months in terms of infrastructure and local and international investments, which led to enhancing its role in commerce and investment. It had attracted 230 projects till last August and deal with 410,000 tons of goods. To know more about it, Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi has prepared this report.
Al-Mazuna Free Zone has witnessed rapid developments during the past months in infrastructure and attracting local and foreign investments, which contributed to enhancing its role in trade and investment. The completion rate of the second package of Phase 1 of the development of the zone reached 45%, while the electricity transmission project for the leased companies in the zone reached 95%, and the broadband project reached 85%.
We are trying to attract many companies and other investors to come from here. We already sit with a lot of people who are really interesting to establish their business in Al Mazuna Free Zone.
Al Mazuna Free Zone managed to attract 230 projects until last August and handled 410,000 tons of imported goods. As a result, customs data in the zone grew by 94% from the beginning of the year to August, compared with the same period last year, recording 4,500 customs declarations. The movement of trucks loaded from the border outlets to the zone has doubled to 6,891 trucks. This year, Al Mazuna Free Zone witnessed the opening of 3 factories in the fields of autofilling, tissues and household appliances, benefiting from the competitive advantages, incentives offered, and the large area which currently stands at 4.5 million square meters, with plans to expand it to more than 15 million square meters. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi.
Now let's go all the way to China. As the late autumn creeps along scenic areas in east and the southwest of People's Republic of China have been lit up by eye-catching red-leaved trees across the hills and valleys, attracting tourists to come and admire the beautiful sceneries home and abroad. Let's look at this report.
The Red Leaves Canyon is situated in the southern mountain area of Jinan City of East China's Shandong province. The hills and canyon are full of vigorous trees, changing colors as the season changes, with more than 267 hectares of wild smoke trees. In early November, the leaves of smoke trees will redden in the sun and have a bright gloss. Therefore, the perfect visiting time is definitely autumn, when the leaves are fire red, accompanied by poplars with yellow and green leaves, which makes the canyon look like a colorful wonderland. The Red Leaves Canyon is located in the city of Jinan, which is famous because of its rich spring water resources and has gained a reputation as the Spring City. In the past, villagers used to go to the mountain to cut firewood. As people gradually realized the importance of ecology protection and more than 70 years of non-stop effort, the vegetation coverage in the Red Leaves Canyon has reached 98%. Red Leaves Canyon attracts lots of tourists every year. Local villagers have taken this tourist opportunity to attain economic benefits by selling farm products and hosting agritainment and homestay. Meanwhile, in the Red Maple Mountain scenic area in Shifang City of southwest China's Sichuan province, the splendid autumn landscape of red maples has attracted visitors far and wide. The Red Maple Mountain is a mountain botanical park with nearly 50,000 maple trees of more than 10 species, including Chinese red maple and North American maple. With the temperature gradually dropping, maple leaves have changed into a fiery red, which ushered in the best timing for visitors and photographers.
Indeed, what a beautiful scenery there. We all have enjoyed that. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. On behalf of His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, His Highness Sayyid Fahd bin Mahmoud receives His Excellency Chairman of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. As per royal order of His Majesty the Sultan, the State and Shura Councils commence the deliberations of the new 4-year term. And another cultural feat, UNESCO includes the Omani poet Abu Muslim in the celebration of anniversaries. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman Television. From the entire news team and myself, we thank you for joining us, wish you a pleasant evening and, of course, good night.